Hello, 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 all of you beautiful people from around the world. What is up, guys? It's Josh. Welcome to a community stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. Oh, baby, do we have a good one today. Today we are talking about what directors we want to see in the MCU. Ladies and gentlemen, what directors do we want to see in the MCU? And if you want to join the stream, I'm going to put let's see if I can copy this link here, drop this in if you guys want to join into the stream. Oh boy, that is, I don't know if that's going to work there. Let's see. Give me 1 second here, guys. Copy that, paste that. Okay, cool. That link should take you into StreamYards. If you want to come on into StreamYards. And again, we are talking about the directors we want in the MCU. But first, as you guys are popping in, how is everybody doing? I see some awesome people in the chat already. I feel like some people are still sleeping in, man, especially in the States. Probably been a weird week for some people, and they're very much looking forward to sleeping in a little bit as well. But man, oh man, we got a good discussion today. We'll probably go for at least an hour here. And then if you are a Patreon supporter, we are going to roll right into some Patreon live streaming as well. So it's going to be a really cool little afternoon of live streaming here. But how's everybody doing? Let me know, guys. How you doing? Okay, I've got a couple of people I'm going to bring in right away. I'm going to bring in Stormbreaker and Dan the Man. Give me 1 second, gentlemen. I got to kill the music here. Bring the desktop audio level up. We're running without chat today. All right, bada boom. Bada bing.
Yo. What's up?
Oh, what's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good.
Oh, man.
Fine.
I saw you
Just
drinking
woke
something.
up.
Oh, you just woke up?
know. I seen the little, I got the notification when I was on my phone, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We're supposed to have that discussion. So I just hopped right in.
Right on, right on. I saw you drinking something, Stormbreaker. What are you drinking, man?
Pepsi.
Oh, nice. Nice. I thought maybe like it was boozing time where you were at or whatever.
No. I mostly drink Coca-Cola, but the Coca-Cola was sold out, so I did buy Pepsi.
Oh man, that's another rough kind of quarantine Corona situation is having to buy Pepsi when you're not feeling it, I guess, huh? So, gentlemen,
yeah, it's almost evening here right now.
What's up?
It's almost evening here right now.
Oh, really? Okay. Gotcha. Well, I'm sure more people will kind of wake up, see the thing, and come on in. But I just want to say I had a lot of fun doing this. I don't know if you guys came up with any really cool ideas. There's a couple that I couldn't figure out. I first worked with a list where I was like, okay, here's some dope comic book characters and stories that I want to bring in good directors. And then I tried to do it the other way, where I just listed some really great directors and thought about which movies or Marvel characters I would like to see them approach. So before we get into any of the picks, did you guys do either one of those routes, or did you like already have some pairs that you thought were really good?
I had a couple of pairs that I already had in my head.
Yeah.
I did the second option. Yeah.
Directors,
like I had a list of directors.
Right on. Well, let's just kind of get right into it. Let's start with you, Stormbreaker. What's one of your picks, and then we'll talk about it in the panel or whatnot.
So, I have one. I don't know. Have you guys seen Bad Boys for Life?
Is that the newest one?
That's the newest one. Yes.
I've only seen the classics.
Yes.
I've only seen the first.
Yeah.
So the third Bad Boys is and that's going to sound cliche, but it's made by two Belgian directors.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, so their names are Adil Al-Arbi and Bilal Fallah, and they, I could see them working on the Blade project because when you see Bad Boys for Life, you think that these two directors have a big open mind and they have lots of humor, but they made a couple of small movies that were in cinemas here in Belgium, and these movies were so serious. Like, I'm going to give you a movie. The movie is called Black. It's a movie. It is about the gang war in Antwerp between the American people and the black people. but it's a really serious movie.
I'm sorry. What was
So
it called again? But just called Black.
Black, and if you type in Adil Al Arbi Black, then you find it already, I think.
Cool. No, that's cool, man. What's their like style like? Because I've heard that the newest Bad Boys was really really cool. And on a total side note, like there's something weird about maybe not weird, but just a little bit odd to me about Scandinavian countries having like their finger on the pulse a little bit of like African
Yeah,
American culture a little bit. Like Ludwig Göransson is an example, right? So Ludwig is the producer. He's done a lot of different scores and stuff, but he started out working a lot with Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler and he went to Film Squad together, I believe. So just a kind of like one of those interesting cross culture kind of things that's kind of interesting. But
yes, true.
what's their like style like? What are they? Do they have any specific thing for?
So is what I say. So when you see Bad Boys for Life, you think that those two directors make movies that are very humorous, that have a lot of humor, that are very open-minded, but they made movies also that are very, very dark. So that's why I would put them on a Ghost Rider or Blade
Yeah,
movie,
yeah, yeah.
because that are dark movies, but they can bring in the light moments. How do I have to say that correctly? I don't know.
Like a
Um,
humanity, like some good moments that like through the darkness
yes,
kind of yeah.
yes.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely gonna look up Black. I love that's another thing. When I was going through this, I realized my director list is so old school. I don't really know a lot of sort of the new blood in Hollywood or in international film communities. I'm sort of out of that loop, so it would be great to check out some of their stuff. But what about you, Dan? What's what's one of your first picks, man?
Oh man, so we're gonna start. If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this right. Okay, Jordan Peele. We all
Yeah, dude.
know my man from Get
We
Out and Us, right?
yep.
So I think I put Jordan Peele on for Blade. You know, the you
That's a
heard
nice
me
pick.
with
Yeah.
the my favorite actor Mahershala Ali. You know, and my go-to director would work really well together. So I think that should go down. And it's funny he mentioned Ghost Rider, Stormbreaker, because I actually had Michael Bay picked for Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That's kind of a good one too, to
yeah.
be honest.
yeah. But no, the choices you picked were pretty awesome. I believe that we should get. I'm moving on now. Joss Whedon for the X-Men.
Ooh, yeah, dude, that's
I
a
mean,
nice pick, man. Oh, yeah,
right?
because like think about it. He did the first Avengers, right? So he does what nobody
Yeah,
could have done before, right? And his
exactly.
sensibilities, man, on that film. And I even like Age of Ultron a lot, but of course, like the
He knows
Godfather of
how
the
to
teams.
he knows how to work really well with a big group of people, you
Yeah.
know. Like so I think X-Men would be a good pick for him, right?
Yeah, dude.
And also, this is a now I'm gonna delve into TV director territory. Have you watched either of you watched a series called The Order on Netflix?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
No, but I heard of it too.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna break down a little scene for you. Basically, you know, it's about these kids who turn to werewolves who are against witches, and they're in school and they're different ideologies and stuff like that. And the werewolves, the kids are at a bar, and one of them accidentally gets into a fight with this dude, this cliche dude who gets drunk, and it's like, you know, the cliche, oh my god, you hit me, what the world, I'm gonna fight you. But the writing for that show, bro, oh my god. So how about when the drunk dude walks past the girl, he says, or he says something, he looks at her funny, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then she's like, oh, dude, my bad. And then she tries to blame it on one of the dudes, but the drunk dude, he's actually really smart. Like, he looks at her and he's like, watch it, cunt, you know, because he knew that she did something to him, right?
Right.
So then she gets up to pick a fight with him, and then the leader of the werewolves is like, no. All right, before we get into the classic fight where you hit me and then I have to hit you and then we call the cops, why don't you just, you know, go on about your merry way? I'll get you a drink. We can all forget this ever happened. the dude he's talking to, he's like, "Call me stupid again, dumbass," and it's like, so basically, what I'm trying to say is the writers and directors for that show, I think we should get them for Disney Plus, one of the Marvel Disney Plus characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Putting the hard edge on Disney Plus a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, nice. Well, going back to Jordan Peele just for a second, I want to talk about Jordan Peele because it's so funny that you bring him up. Was just talking to people about Jordan last night, and I think it was one of the interesting things where. So I was a huge fan of Key and Peele, right? Huge fan of Key and Peele, really like him, but I haven't seen Get Out and I haven't seen Us. Right now, that has more to do with just I'm not a horror guy. Like I just really don't like horror. But I found it like good for Jordan, but kind of bad for me personally as a fan that like he had such success with Get Out because when he had that success, it kind of seemed like he's gonna niche down now and just kind of do horror and supernatural and really it's just his own writer director stuff, right? Because at one time he was like attached to do the Akira movie. And I just think the dude's brilliant, you know. And I would have loved to see like his take on Akira. And you know, it's one of those things where he probably won't do a Marvel movie or like a superhero film because of the crazy success that he's had with like Get Out and Us. Right now, he's like the modern day African American Hitchcock. You know what I mean? So definitely like a good choice. But like, just so funny that you brought him up when we were just talking about. Jordan, you know what I mean? Where he's going to kind of niche down now.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I say with Jordan, he's a different beast. With him, you just got to approach. I feel like if you approach the right material with him, he'll agree to do it. Because
that's true.
You would be massively insane to turn down a chance to be in the MCU. Like I know directors have done it, but
right. Well, that's the thing. If you look at the ones that have, it's usually the fact that like their own personal brand doesn't really jive with it too well. You know what I mean? And so like Jordan's just, and it kind of just happened. Like I don't think, like I know he set out to make a great movie. Dude obviously loves movies. He's a cinephile. Like you can just tell. Even in Key and Peele, like you could see in some of those skits, I was like, dude, like he's doing it. It's the same thing when I would see some of this stuff in like Community, right? Where you're like, oh, like this is really cinematic. Like these people really know what they're doing. But yeah, I would love it. I would love it. But I feel like Jordan's going to go do his thing for a long while now before that would happen. You know what I mean?
For sure. If not Jordan for Blade, then the directors for Bad Boy for Life would be good for Blade as well.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a Blade one as well, and it's kind of an interesting one. I'll open it up and see what you guys think about this.
The guys, sorry that I interrupt, but the guys already had conversations with Marvel Studios.
Jordan did?
About the two directors from Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, nice! That's awesome. That's good to know. Well, maybe they
can come back to that later because. I know Josh wants to talk, but we can come back to that later because I got something I want to say.
Well, we can do that now. What's the dealio on that?
Honestly, bro, I think those two. It might be premature to say, but because I seen that clip when they were talking about me with Marvel, and they give off the vibe that they could be like the next Russo bros. You know what I mean?
Like, that's what
snap. Okay. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to have to go watch Black now because that's crazy, dude.
Right.
That's high praise, you know? The Russo brothers, dude, the Russo brothers came in hot. Like, Winter Soldier is still probably the best beat-by-beat story told in the MCU, in my opinion. So they came in hot, and then they just elevated, you know what I mean? So that would be really cool. My Blade quick, I'll just do my Blade pick real quick, and then Stormbreaker will go into some of more of yours. I want to see Guillermo Del Toro, come back to Blade with Mahershala Ali. I think it would just be brilliant, right? So like he did obviously Blade 2, he was really connected to that universe, and Blade 2 is dope. He already worked with Wesley Snipes, obviously worked with a lot of people at Marvel already. It would be fantastic. And like Del Toro's that darkness, you know what I mean? And his like imagination would really elevate the film. Because like the thing is, Mahershala is like probably one of the greatest actors of our time. Have you guys ever seen the new the detective John that he was in, True Detective.
No, I haven't seen, but
Yo.
I think I saw trailers.
Yeah, well, he plays, just to show like his range. He plays 3 different versions of himself in that show from different timelines.
Oh,
Like
wow.
a really young man, a middle-aged man, and then a really old man. And like, dude, you want to see like the chops of this man? Like, it's crazy. He's a world-class actor for sure. So we're all looking
But
forward to that, right? But I want to see that complemented by like some really visionary shit, like some visionary filmmaking around it.
but what if you make Del Toro do a project like Marvel Knights or Midnight Suns or something like that?
Yeah.
I had the same idea.
Yeah.
Because
Dude,
he was
yes,
going to do
please.
Justice League Dark, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
putting him in a group of supernatural horror Avenger type crossover mess would be really awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I almost wish that they would do that with Blade out of the gate, but it is Mahershala, so you would tend to think that maybe they want to do something a little bit more intimate, just because he is such a great actor and they want to showcase that. But yeah, I'd love to see him jump into a team. That would be really cool.
He's down to do it, and then you just got to look at the signs. Like Mahershala reached out to Kevin Feige
True.
after they killed him off on Netflix.
True.
You know? So he wants to do it, and I'm pretty sure he's bummed out that Blade isn't getting a movie right now. Like I think when he was on that stage at Comic-Con, it's like, yeah, I'm Blade, but damn, I gotta wait. I think he wants it in like right now. He wants that bread right now. You know?
For sure, man.
You know you are a good actor when you can say to Kevin Feige, "I want to play Blade," and he allows it.
I know.
I think
right?
if Mahershala Ali didn't come to him for a Blade movie, we didn't even get a Blade movie the next 10 years.
Yeah. At least not till the back end of that 10 years for sure.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. No, that's good. Well, Stormbreaker, you got another pick that you want to let us talk about?
So I recently rewatched the John Wick movies.
Ooh.
But the guy's name, I don't going to tell it, because I'm going to absolutely butcher his name. But the director from John Wick, I would give him a Punisher project. But the chance that Marvel Studios keeps the Netflix actors is small.
Yeah.
So I would I would give the role of the Punisher to Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And I would make the director of John Wick the Punisher project.
I've actually heard people bring that up. Dan, what do you think about that, bro?
100%. Yeah, I agree. He took the word. Yeah, I would always wanted Keanu Reeves. Like, I feel like his John Wick movies are straight up audition for Punisher.
Yeah.
I mean, my only thing with him is, and I think like obviously from the, like my thing is, I would want him to be a little bit more physical. He's very physical in these movies. Obviously, the John Wick movies are incredible, but I mean like physically imposing. So I don't know if he would like put on weight. And then there's just something about his face that is a little like it's not the face I think of Frank.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think he can buff a little.
Yeah.
I think he can buff up a little.
Yeah. No, I mean
now,
like he's got
meet you in
Yeah. What's up? Sorry, you glitched
Oh,
for a second.
did we cut out for a minute?
Yeah, just for a second. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was me. Okay. All right. No, I was gonna say that I'll meet you in the middle and say, put Keanu in space and make him Adam Warlock. If you want to see that range.
Yeah, dude. I've seen the photos of that, and that feels a little more right for me, just because like if you think about, I mean, his most iconic role is Neo, right? And as Neo, he's very stoic. You know, he's very reserved. There's power there, but it feels like highlighted, like almost on a pedestal kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think he's a little bit of a better fit for something like that for sure. But I will say that the directing choice is spot on. The John Wick people, and I don't know if it's even the same guy. Is it the same director that's done all 3?
Yes.
Well, you know, the director was also a stuntman in Matrix, all the Matrix movies as well.
Oh, that's sick, dude. That's
So
sick.
that's
Okay.
how.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that guy's pretty much got the chops 1000% for Punisher. I've got a I've got a Punisher pick too that I'll just throw out there too. And this would never happen, but it would be fantastic, dudes. A Quentin Tarantino Punisher movie.
Oh wow.
If Quentin
Oh
Tarantino did
wow.
a Punisher movie and they let him go do a Quentin Tarantino Punisher movie, like this would require a lot of freedom. You know what I mean, from Feige, and
Yes.
it feels kind of like a
The,
bad fit in that sense. But stylistically, holy shit!
Yeah,
oh
that
yeah,
would be
no,
cool.
absolutely. I think that's more like I think if you make Quentin the cinematographer and the visualization, that would work. But the one thing that kind of turned it off for me was his humor doesn't like match with the Punisher.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
That's a good point. But he could do
but I
maybe like some of it. Like there's some stuff in Kill Bill that's very like tongue in cheek, where like when she cuts the dude's head off, right? That like disrespects
yeah,
her, and it's just the way it's done is
yeah,
really kind of humorous. But it is a little slapsticky too. So I do see what you're saying with that for sure.
you know. But no, I think he would definitely make uh seeing Quentin's kinetic aesthetic with the Punisher blowing folks' head off. Who wouldn't want to see that? You know,
What if he
that
just
would be pretty
wrote
dope.
it? You know what I mean? Because he has written films before. What if he like wrote it and then Marvel sort of took like they did the Edgar Wright thing, right, with Ant-Man, where they take his film but then they rewrite it. They give him story credit, and it still has the vibes. Like, dude, that first Ant-Man film that has Edgar Wright vibes all
Yeah.
over it, you know, but it's not
Hmm.
his original vision. If Quentin would be up for that, I would be okay with that.
Mm.
Like a nice little story by Quentin Tarantino, like, and just to get him to come to the freaking the press release and hang out with the fans, because he loves Marvel movies. Like Thor Ragnarok is his favorite genre. Like he's all about that life. So it's
Really?
yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh.
I think he got into him a little late, but like Quinn's the type of guy, from my understanding. I mean, like, you know, I only text with him every night or whatever, right? So I don't know for sure. But like from my
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
understanding,
yeah.
like Quentin is he loves all kinds of cinema, man. You know what I mean? Like he loves Star Wars. He loves all that stuff. He's not a Martin Scorsese about it, you know.
Right, right, right.
But Dan, what's
Uh,
your next one, brother?
oh wow. Let's see. I think let's get I wanted to do Daredevil, but I can't think of a director at the moment.
Well, I'm gonna bring Trev in real quick here. What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
What's up?
How are you doing, man?
Good.
Hanging in there, surviving the teen.
Yeah, well, it's not so bad here, but yeah.
That's
Going.
good. That's good. You got any picks you want to go over, or do you want to comment on any of the picks that you heard us talking about?
No, just keep going, guys. Go. I'm just trying to comment on what you guys are going on.
Right
What you guys
on,
are
right
doing.
on. Stormbreaker, you got another one?
Um. Yeah, this is another really cliche one. Steven Spielberg for Kazor and the Savage Lands.
Dude,
Oh,
that's great. Like kind of playing off of the Jurassic
Jurassic
Park.
Park.
Yeah. No, I could see that. I think that would be really cool, man. I wonder if Spielberg would ever do a Marvel movie. That would be
Yeah.
wild.
That'd be crazy if Spielberg
Yeah.
did a Marvel movie.
That would be absolutely nuts. I don't know, man. I don't know if he would sign up, but I love the idea. I love the pick, and I do hope we do get into the Savage Land a little bit. And you know, what about like a devil dinosaur, like just to take it to like the next crazy
Yeah.
level? You know what I mean? Do devil dinosaur.
mm,
Let me ask you this question. I was open this up to the panel because this was hard for me. I wanted to pick a movie for Martin Scorsese beyond just like the memeing and stuff. Like I was really trying to think like, what if as an ultimate comeback story, Feige
Kingpin.
did get him.
Kingpin.
What?
Kingpin.
Kingpin?
Kingpin.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, okay, Kingpin would be cool. I thought of Magi a lot. I was like, okay, so some Magi gangster struggle, maybe Count Neferi, and, you know, Hammerhead or something like that going on. But yeah, no, that's what I was thinking, right? Some kind of gangster film. But can you guys think of anything?
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage, but really like an absolute origin story for Luke Cage, with his past life, and then going to the present day, like how he was before he became Luke Cage, like
Right.
Luke Cage
You know,
when
I
he was a gangster.
Yeah, I could see maybe yeah, and that Heroes for Hire kind of stuff is kind of dipping into Scorsese's world a little bit. You know, I would almost do like if I was to pitch an idea, maybe this wouldn't be in the MCU, but what if you pitched an idea like that was like a Luke Cage film, but like done in the tone of the Joker, and Luke Cage is just like a soldier for an actual crime family, but then sort of gets this power and then sort of goes nuts on the crime family or tries to like solidify his own gangster like position.
Made me think of something. Or how about an Osborn centric film, if they were allowed?
Yeah.
Where he's the hero of his own story, similar to the way Thanos was, but more where Scorsese does like an Osborn businessman, thinks he's saving the world, but leading to your Dark Avengers kind of stuff.
Dude, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, who would you guys pick for like a Dark Avengers Thunderbolts movie?
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I know, right? Zack Snyder was already confirmed, so we already confirmed that on April Fool's. Yo, people were so funny, like on that video. Like on a side note, it's the April Fool's videos are always fun, but like I feel like some people were affected by, like I literally got comments on that video that were like, I'm having a terrible day. The world's falling apart right now, and you just did this, and I hate you forever and shit. And I'm just like for real, but okay, like look, it is what it is.
What if the Suicide Squad reboot is good?
Or Scorsese does What If, but keep going.
So what if the Suicide reboot with James Gunn is good, and James Gunn does Guardians 3, don't he?
Yes.
Yep.
So if he's done with that, and he proved with Suicide Squad that he can make a movie like that work, I can see him do the Dark Avengers.
Yeah, no, he could definitely. He has the sensibility for it. I think even it's hard to say. There's some directors that just have really, really great range on all of that. Man, as far as like who I would really want to do Dark Avengers, that's tricky. I haven't really thought about that other than the April Fool's thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you anybody got a pick for that?
Well,
it'd be
like
tough.
Like I brought some stuff up in the chat earlier. Maybe like a Paul Yates, like a guy who did like a big cast of like the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
I think the last 3 Harry Potter movies, I think he did, right?
Yeah.
Paul Yates.
That.
What about
on a big ensemble cast anyway?
Yeah. What about?
Go ahead.
What about the kids that did Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of Monsters?
Those are 2 different directors, right? Like they're in the same universe, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, I liked King of Monsters. I felt like it definitely had the scope. It had the scope of something you'd want to do with that for sure. You'd want a good. You definitely want a good actors director in a Dark Avengers film. Something like what we were talking about with Joss Whedon, where it's like, okay, this guy can definitely handle all these different personalities and how they mesh together.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the Russo brothers would be a strong pick to come back for that. It would be kind of fun to see them do that. I think the Russo brothers, they've joked a lot about the only thing they're coming back for is Secret War, right? Yeah. So I actually think, and like you guys have probably heard me talk about this, but I actually think they've been developing that. They are developing it right now. You know what I mean?
What else are they doing?
Yeah, right. Well, the Magic the Gathering series on the animated series, they produce it.
I thought they were doing something with Tom Holland, but I guess that never came out.
Aren't they the directors of that Netflix movie that is coming out
with
real
Hemsworth,
soon?
Yeah.
Yes. Extraction or something like that?
Yeah, Extraction. And I'm going to check it out. I mean, why not?
For sure.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a pick. I had Guy Ritchie doing an Exiles movie or like a Captain Britain film.
Wow, Exiles. Exiles featuring Captain Britain.
Exactly. Yep.
What What about?
I just came up with one.
Oh, sorry.
No, you first. You first.
What about a Captain Britain and the Black Knight movie?
Dude, yeah.
With Guy Ritchie.
Leaping off
I love
after the Eternals comes out.
That would be sick.
Kit Harington and who's cast Captain Britain?
Well,
young or old?
Well, I wanted it to be. I always imagined it actually as Christian Bale.
Yeah.
I thought.
What's his name again?
Vigo in my head. Vigo Mortensen.
Dude, Vigo would be good too. Yeah.
I forgot his name, but he always gets fan cast as Green Arrow. He could be a Captain.
He was in Camelot.
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah.
He could be a good. He could be a good Captain Britain.
Yeah, well, Guy Ritchie works with all. Yeah, Guy Ritchie has great relationships with all
Gerard
of.
Butler.
Who?
Gerard Butler, Jason Statham.
Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, Gerard Butler would be a dope Billy Braddock. That could work, dude. That could work.
For the longest time, I always had Henry Cavill as the Captain Britain.
Yeah.
Good choice, man. It's a good choice. Well, there's a couple of different Captain Britons too from multiple dimensions and whatnot too. So that could be really interesting.
They all play by the same actor.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about Tom Holland playing all the different Spider-Man.
I know, right? I know. I mean, they're holding so many secrets for us, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait even longer to see what these secrets are now. But yeah, that's.
How about Alfonso Cuarón? The Harry Potter movies and Harry Potter directors.
Love Cuarón. Something in the supernatural would be great with him.
Like building on Blade. Like what's the Blade team that he's on? Midnight Suns.
Yes.
Suns?
Yeah, we were just talking. Yeah, we were just talking about little Midnight Suns would be really cool to do. Yeah, that would be sweet. You know what else? This is a little bit off topic here, but I was thinking about this the other day, guys. Dracula is an interesting character because he's technically like free to use by anybody, right? So like Dracula can be anywhere. But Dracula has played big roles in a lot of Spider-Man stuff and also just in mainstream Marvel stuff. And I'm interested in, is this something that Sony's going to try to beat Marvel to the punch with? Because as far as I'm thinking, particularly with Morbius coming in, right? Like it's either going to be Dracula or Null that will likely be their first big event. And it's either like vampires or more symbiotes, right? So what do you guys think of that?
Well, if we're still talking about the horror thing, I was going to mention something and we can come back to the Dracula thing, but I want to keep this, I want to throw this out there so I can not forget about it later. How do you feel about John Krasinski directing the Fantastic Four film?
Yeah.
But with the different spin on it. Like his making the Fantastic.
You glitched out for a sec for me, so.
He was saying John Krasinski doing Fantastic Four, but with a twist.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. Making the Fantastic Four a horror film set in the microverse, trying to get away from Annihilus, right?
Or the zombieverse. People were talking about the zombieverse in the chat earlier, right?
True.
Like the way, that's what Mark Millar wrote, right? When he was, he was writing the Ultimate Fantastic Four back like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
He was writing where Reed was talking with an alternate Reed. It was from the zombieverse. That's what introduced the zombieverse in 2004.
But I think they're doing the Marvel Zombies in What If, aren't they?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. I believe that's going to be one of them. Yeah, not to say that they couldn't. And I am actually interested in how What If is going to possibly be incorporated into the mainstream. But no, I mean, I like that idea. That would be a very unique twist as well, because I think what a lot of people are expecting is Fantastic Four to just come into our time, right, and maybe be a fish out of water. It would be interesting if we do them set somewhere completely different, either the quantum realm or in a different reality. And
it'd be interesting if they made Reed a villain, just like he kind of is in the Ultimate.
Yes, I mean, look, the Ultimate's Reed is awesome. He's a great villain.
Is that the guy with the helmet or something?
The Maker.
Yeah.
He's called the Maker right now.
Yeah.
He's Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I see a lot of people talking about Deborah Chow too. What do you guys think of Deborah Chow? I mean, look, I obviously love Deborah Chow, but what do you think?
I think I need to see more from her. I've only seen those 2 episodes, right? I've only seen those 2 episodes of Mandalorian.
Right.
I need to see more.
She did Jessica Jones. She did a lot of Jessica Jones.
Did she do a couple? Well, then maybe I have seen more, but I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I don't know particularly. I think she did a lot of stuff in season 1, and I don't know. I mean, season
Season
1's
one
my
was
favorite.
good with the Purple Man, right? So,
Dude, yes, season
How
1
do
is
we feel
amazing.
about Deborah Chow doing A-Force?
I mean, again, my thing with A-Force is it's just got to make sense to me within the story. You know that there was that rumor, right? We talked about it a couple weeks ago with the
Yeah.
Badoon, yeah. And I'm like, dude, that works for me. Like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that totally works for me.
As long as they don't force A-Force into Captain Marvel movie because they want to make Captain Marvel movie better.
Right.
I think it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think Deborah Chow could be a good fit for that. I also think Patty Jenkins could be interesting if we got her away from DC, getting her
and bring
over to
Liv
do
Tyler
Marvel.
back. Bring Liv Tyler back as the Ross.
Well, she, Patty Jenkins is really interesting too because like she said something after Wonder Woman and it sort of got swept under the rug, but she essentially said something to the effect of like, why do I have to be considered like a female director? Like all of the conversations around Patty were, oh, look at her as a female director, or like she did this and it's so great.
Is she the one that directed Hurt Locker too?
Yeah.
Did she direct Hurt Locker?
No, that was Catherine Bigelow, I think.
Yeah, that's Captain Bigelow.
Yeah, but point being that like, look, Patty Jenkins is just an incredible director, just in general. You know what I mean?
Wonder Woman was a great movie.
Yeah, I think she could do great with any kind of cast. She didn't do.
Yeah, she did that. She did Monster. Right, with,
that's what it was.
Charlize
Okay,
Theron.
yeah. I'm not a huge fan of that, like sort of putting people in a box kind of thing. Even though I get it because it's a branding thing, and it's the same thing where I was talking about Jordan.
Well, it's not kind of stuff. I don't put them in a box. I would say like it's just this is what I've been exposed to, directed by them, and what
so it's almost like a niche, right? But like that's the same thing with Jordan Peele, where like I feel like now
he's only done horror movies so far, right?
Right. Yeah. He's kind of niched down in that, and I feel like it's smart. Like his agent, like it's a branding thing almost for a lot of them. But yeah, I can't really decide like stylistically what would be a great fit for them, for both of them. But they're both fantastic directors, so I'd be excited if they came in.
Well, Jordan, he's also doing the Twilight Zone, which is teasing into different other genres as well.
Yeah, that feels pretty. It feels on brand for me though.
Horror, so
it feels very like psychological and.
If it was like Outer Limits / Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Maybe.
Where's the sci-fi? More than like, or like, what's the Netflix one that does that? The sci-fi future.
Black Mirror. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking too about some directors that are not around anymore. I was really trying to think because Stanley Kubrick is like my favorite director of all time, and I'm trying to think of like what I would want Stanley Kubrick to direct if he was around. If we could do a dream team, or like in a simulation somewhere, make that movie. I was thinking I would love to see Kubrick do either Moon Knight or The Sentry, and really like their origins. Just because I feel like he'd really be able to nail the psychological aspects to those characters, and keeping it visually very weird as well, right? Like, one of the things with Moon Knight is you're just not sure, like, is he crazy? Does he even have powers? You know what I mean? And it's a similar thing with the Sentry, where, like, the Sentry was this hero that everybody forgot, and then it's like, oh, but is he really a hero? What's going on with him? Is he just insane? And then what's the Void, and what's that whole situation? So yeah, what do you guys think about a Stanley Kubrick MCU?
What movies did he do? But I think I'm a little too young to know movies that he made.
So his Shining, The Shining.
Spielberg did that AI movie in the 90s with Haley Joel Osment.
Correct. Yeah.
Spielberg was picking up his notes on it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Spielberg was trying to, because they were really good friends. He was trying to sort of pick
movie
up
with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, where it's about like the underground.
Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah. Eyes Wide Shut. Brilliant film. I mean, like, I know the dude's like whole filmography. Yeah, 2001's a really great example of a really influential film that he did. The Shining. Yeah, Shining's probably his most popular movie, I would say. But yeah, like Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket. He's
Jacket.
yeah, he's great at genre. Like he could do any genre, but they all have a very surreal
But
feel.
he was a crazy director too. Like he's pushed like that girl in The Shining was pushed to like insanity.
Yeah, well, he was supposedly like a literally 200 IQ genius, right? So like he didn't. I mean, he made Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise shoot that movie for like 3 years. They shot they shot Eyes Wide Shut for like 3 years, and Cruise was at one point like some of the behind the scenes stuff is really interesting where Tom knew, obviously Tom knows what an honor it is to work with Kubrick and like all that shit, but he was basically like, look, it's been like 3 years, Stanley, like
right,
I gotta go, you know what I mean? Like let's go, let's get it going, you know. But yeah.
Coppola movie.
Coppola would be cool. I thought about Coppola or like Sidney Lumet, some of those great 70s directors and what their style would kind of look like nowadays with a Marvel film. I don't know. It would be it would certainly be interesting to see.
Maybe I would have seen a Deborah, like I'm going back just a second. I was thinking about the Deborah Chow thing. I wouldn't mind seeing a Deborah Chow Doom movie. Like Doctor Doom or something.
Yeah.
Like, the way Noah Hawley was kind of describing his
honestly,
kind of like following Doom.
That would be really cool. Noah Hawley is also an incredible talent that I do hope gets the chance to work at Marvel in some way.
Well, he pitched, right? He pitched whatever. Did he pitch Doom to Feige? Is that what it was? Or did he pitch whatever to Feige? I don't know.
Yeah, so he was working on that for Fox, and when the Fox purchase happened, he did meet with Feige, and essentially, I believe they couldn't work it out. You know what I mean? And I assume that's because Feige has all these plans for Doom, and so he
that would.
Yeah, right. Damn straight, better.
So if they were to make adapt the Strange Academy comics to the live action, they should use the Harry Potter folk for that series.
Do a Chris Columbus one, like the first two.
Yeah.
He also did Teenage Babysitter, right? Or whatever that was,
I think so. Yeah.
So
Adventures in Babysitting or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what about the Duffer Brothers from Stranger Things for a Young Avengers / Power Pack / Champions movie or TV series?
I would like that. Yeah.
The kids are mostly the best part about Stranger Things together with Hopper. But I think they could make a movie like that with kids or young adults.
The X-Men.
Yeah.
I would love to see them.
That could
I always wanted to see the Champions adapted, so Duffer Brothers could work with that. Yeah. Or Young Avengers. It really does work, actually.
I think if you make the X-Men really young, it would work with them really well.
I mean, I think that's. Do you think that's what they're gonna do, Trev? You think they're gonna go with a really young?
I have no idea. I can't say but I would love to see like teenage X-Men. Like I understand that's kind of what they were doing the last little bit.
Right.
What's her name? Game of Thrones, and but
yeah, Sophie Turner, Arya Stark.
And the guy from Ready Player One and stuff like that.
No, I'd love the Duffer Brothers choice, though. I mean, they're so good with those child actors. You know, child actors can be really make or break in a project. You know.
Did you guys say what you want Nolan directing? Because I thought that was in the chat a while ago too.
Oh,
MCU wise, what would Nolan direct?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Or his brother
direct
Westworld too.
Sinister Six.
Sinister Six would work. You know, I think Nolan would be great for that Osborn movie you were talking about, Trev.
Yeah,
that sort of look at him through like the business world and on the come up and all that. That would be really interesting.
Or who directed American Psycho? Whoever directed that movie would be good too. I can't think.
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't know who directed American Psycho.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's like a gap. That's a gap in.
I will search it up.
So
you better. We need to know this information, Stormbreaker, for when the trivia happens.
right. So Mav has a good list here: Coppola, Coen's brothers, Duffers, and Wes Anderson. I feel like you're obsessed with the Wes Anderson Marvel movie, Mav. You're always talking about it. What could Wes Anderson do that you guys would be okay with in Marvel?
Deadpool.
Damn, Trev. Damn. Perfect.
He's on the money. He's on the money. On the
like,
money, Johnny.
Can you imagine, like, what was that, the Grand Hotel in Budapest? But, like, the kid who plays
movie.
Flash Thompson, but
yes.
it's like the kid who plays Flash, but instead of the kid, it's like Deadpool.
Dude, that would be so perfect.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got a super chat coming in from Jason. What's up, Jason? Keep it in the family. Get Chris Evans to direct a smaller scope, character-driven story. Also, Bong Joon-ho after Snowpiercer. I would love to see him. Dude, I was trying to think of Bong Joon-ho. I'm not familiar enough with his aesthetic, but dude, he's got the chops. He's fantastic. So,
dude, Chris Evans should direct the eventual Invaders Disney Plus series.
Invaders.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 40, like coming back, or like.
Oh man, I'm talking like when he was in that alternate timeline with that the director said they were trying to do, but the writers thought they were in the same timeline. I'm for Captain America being in the alternate timeline because it just makes more sense that way.
Yeah.
So spending all of that time, he's with the alternate version of old girl, and then he would meet the father of T'Chaka, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and Wasp, Namor, and just build on all those past heroes. Like, I think the Disney Plus series with the Invaders with Chris Evans directing is like a for sure hit,
I think that could work, yeah. I don't think I've ever seen anything that Chris Evans has directed, though. He's done a couple, like, smaller things, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm saying this can give him the opportunity to really be like Joss Whedon in a way that he can work well with on a bigger scale of people.
I think particularly in the Marvel system, this kind of thing is way more viable than it would be maybe in even other studio systems, just because like everything is pretty on rails. And Chris, as being the person that portrayed Cap for so long and worked with all these actors, he's got to have a level of insight to get an actor to get there with that performance, right? Because sometimes, like, as an actor, you're searching for the tone, like you're trying subtle different variations of the thing to see how is it landing, how is it. Yeah. So I think Chris probably would be a great person to have that insight to share.
How about Garrett Evans, guy who directed the Raid and Raid 2?
Yeah, I mean that dude's fire, dude. Like aren't some of the Raid people involved in Shang-Chi, or am I making that up? I feel like I heard that somewhere, but
awesome.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could definitely. And also too, there's plenty of room here. I was trying to think of like smaller stuff, like you were kind of saying, Dan. Like Disney Plus is a great avenue for that, right? So there's a lot of like kind of smaller, more intimate stories that could be told.
Well, like you said, like smaller intimate stories where that you follow like a villain's perspective or like a one person. Like, I would love to see those movies. Like, I want to see more of those movies, like a downfall, like someone coming, like this is how they descend into their villainy. This is what makes how they view the world. Like why Thanos is the way he is. Why Osborn will be the way he is. Why Doom will be the way he is.
Right.
Even
I'm telling you, man. Thunderbolts is the way to go. If you want to do that.
I think you're right.
Like Vince Gilligan, Breaking Bad, like.
Oh yeah,
dude, Vince Gilligan should come do the Thunderbolts show on Disney Plus. Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Featuring what's his name as Osborn.
Dude, he would be perfect. I mean, he doesn't have hair. I mean, we can figure that out. He has hair.
He has hair.
Yeah, you're right. He has hair. I've seen. Yeah, Michael Cranston.
What was that movie
right?
with him and Kevin Hart again? That just where he was the quadriplegic. That we were talking about.
Yeah, he had hair. Yeah, he had hair. You're right. All I see is Heisenberg. But no, dude, he would be a great Norman Osborn. Yo, he would have been a great Lex Luthor. They fucked up when they didn't get him as Lex.
Yeah, they made Luthor too young, so it's just like it's
and too weird, man.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I can't stand when Hollywood people are like, "How do I put my spin?" You know, and they're so obsessed with like their spin or their version of of a superhero or of a character of a movie. Like, I just can't stand that. Like, it really bugs me. But what about Ang Lee? Could Ang Lee come back and do something?
Hulk 2.
Absolutely, he can.
Yeah. Or like,
Red Hulk.
Yeah.
And then bring back Josh Lucas.
Yeah, dude. The boy himself, Josh Lucas. Yeah.
Give him another chance in the She-Hulk series.
The guy, right? He played the guy who becomes the Abominable, right? No, he didn't play Blonsky.
No, he didn't play Blonsky. I mean, I definitely remember him in the film, but I don't particularly.
Wait, are you talking about the guy that played his father? No.
No. Josh Lucas is the guy from Sweet Home Alabama. He was like the lead with Reese Witherspoon.
Ford versus Ferrari, he was the asshole executive.
Yes. In Ford vs. Ferrari, he was the guy that kept trying to shut everything down, like the slimy guy that was like, no, I think we're gonna take over. I'm gonna try to take over for the old man. By the way, Ford vs. Ferrari, fantastic.
I just watched Rush the other night there. Like Rush from 2000, directed by Ron Howard.
That movie's brilliant, dude.
And Daniel Bruhl. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I remember I watched that movie at New York Comic Con like 6 years ago. All the people I was with like went out and partied, but I didn't want to party because like I was trying to sell comics and stuff, so I wanted to be fresh the next day.
Yeah.
So I just stayed home and watched. Stayed in the hotel and watched that movie. Man, that flick is great.
Plays Glenn Talbot in Hulk, but just Russell was saying that. That's what was I gonna say there? I had another train of thought before I looked that up. Fuck, I can't remember.
He played the asshole in the Hulk movie. I know what you're talking about.
He also always plays an asshole. That's kind of what he's typecast.
I know, right? That's kind of what he's typecast for sure.
That's what Josh Lucas is the best at, right?
Hey, look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm trying. Like I'm trying, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm journaling. I'm working on myself, but you know sometimes the Josh Lucas gene just kicks in, and I'm like,
come on.
Fuck this, fuck you.
Puts everybody on. Come on.
True. I got some interesting ones. Let's go over just a couple more, and then we'll call it, and then we'll probably do like a 15-minute little recess before we go on Patreon. But I like this CGM show talked about Ben Affleck. I actually think Ben Affleck is a very high-quality director. What kind of property do you think Affleck could fit in with the MCU, man? It would be such a great comeback story for him because, like, he had, you know, the Batman thing and the alcoholism and, you know.
Star and direct? Or just direct?
Hey, look, man, it's your pitch, brother. You know what I mean? Like, he could work as a superhero. I don't know who he could be.
I'd let Ben Affleck direct Moon Knight, if we're being man. Yeah.
He could do some Moon Knight stuff.
You love the Moon Knight, Jay.
Dude, I'm so excited for that Moon Knight, though, dude. I'm still holding out hope that it's Shia LaBeouf. Look, the world is going crazy. We need Shia LaBeouf as Moon Knight. We need him.
That's my big two.
Dude, don't let your dreams just be dreams, man. Come on.
With Moon Knight 2, with Moon Knight 2, I can see people. There are people casting Keanu Reeves as Moon Knight. I think like, what? The only guy that is able to do Moon Knight is Shia LaBeouf. That's literally the only guy able to do him. Shia LaBeouf.
I'm telling you, man. Get the villain from the latest James Bond movie. That kid's a genius.
Yeah, Malik's great. Yeah, honestly, we talked about that. I think back in the day we were talking about that because Ken Cologne that runs the social, he's really a big fan of Mr. Robot and of Rami Malek. And we talked about it and we were like, dude, Rami Malek would be perfect for it. Now the problem is Marvel made it a thing, or at least they kind of said that like they really want it to be a Jewish actor because he's Jewish in the comics. You know what I mean? And so it's a little bit of like that intersectionalism that
if they want that, it sounds like they're gonna want Magneto.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Where you at, Tang? Where you at, Tang?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think again that's just like one of those things where it's like I get you, but Rami Malek's a fantastic actor. Actors literally for a living play people that they are not. So
I
it's
know
like
it's the whole identity politics.
yeah, it is. It's like weird though. That's the part of it that I don't like. You know what I mean? Where it's
Well,
like
you
okay,
gotta remember the thing about Mark Spector is he's very into like the Egyptian gods and stuff. Robbie Malek literally played an Egyptian pharaoh in Night at the Museum. So it's like
ooh,
Oh
he's
yeah,
got the
that's
look.
true. I totally forgot about that.
And Freddie Mercury is Egyptian, isn't he?
Yes.
Or like North African. I want to say he's not.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He's
Yes.
definitely ethnic, dude. That's a great point. Yeah. That
You
totally
know?
that could totally work. He'd have to get in the gym a little bit, but like, yeah, he's definitely got the chops for it. He's a fantastic
Oh, yeah.
actor. He's really good.
For sure.
And then there was
Mhm.
so do we figure anything out on Affleck, man?
For Affleck.
What's up?
No, I'm still thinking.
I can't think of a good pick for Affleck. I
No,
love The
I don't.
Town where he did he's done really good gangster stuff and almost
Where
street.
he's an anti-hero. Where he's an but that's also that's a villain perspective too, right?
Yeah.
Well, Affleck is good on like single character pieces, you know, like especially with stuff involving himself or another character. So,
Daredevil. You make him do Daredevil.
He could.
oh
be.
yeah,
That would be
yeah,
hilarious. Yeah.
that's the one right there. Ben Affleck directed Daredevil,
Or
but
you bring Ben Affleck in to play like if you're gonna redo the Kingpin, maybe have Affleck play the Kingpin.
I was gonna say for
Yeah.
wink references, Ben Affleck can play his father. You know,
Whose father?
Oh.
Oh,
Matt Murdock's father.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or Bullseye.
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
Affleck as Bullseye.
That would be an interesting
Ooh.
twist. Make him bullseye and flip it,
Yeah.
or make him like make him Hercules.
I think Affleck would be a good Kingpin. He's tall, he's big.
Yeah, he's definitely good in that sense.
If you're gonna recast and not have D'Onofrio come back.
What about Affleck
Right.
like being Hercules or like something like that, like Ares? Like if he gets
We-
back in shape,
He has no. Why would he have any interest in playing those characters?
because
Like, I
We
they're
mentioned
awesome.
we mentioned
I
Gerard
can't-
Butler. Gerard Butler would make a good Hercules. You know.
That's
Yes.
fucking true. But you know, Gerard Butler has literally never been the same since 300. As far as his physique, because I don't know if you know this, but he had to spend it was at least a couple weeks in the hospital after that movie.
Well, that and Snyder.
Really?
Well, you
Snyder
know,
touched up all those actors.
Except for Gerard Butler.
and he was in I just finally got around to seeing my movie that I've been meaning to see for the longest. I fell asleep on with my cousin. I just can never get around to seeing it, but I recorded it. Den of Thieves came out in 2018. You know.
Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen it. That's Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler's in it. Yeah. I've
So
only
what
seen
about-
the beginning of it.
So what about Jason Momoa for Hercules?
Oh yeah.
Jason
Oh,
Momoa
yeah.
would be great.
He has the build
He's
for
great as-
Hercules.
He already played Conan.
Yeah.
He'd be Conan.
Isn't his? I think his Aquaman career is in jeopardy, right? So I think.
Yeah.
Dude, no, you can't believe those rumors. I mean, look, the thing is, his Aquaman career, the only thing that potentially is putting that in jeopardy is the fact that Warner Brothers, if they ever decide what they're going to do with their continuity, they could try to just start fresh. But, like, yeah, a lot of that stuff was on We Got This Covered. So, like, We Got This Covered just kind of,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they ran a story.
Momoa and The Rock just like go blow for blow,
Dude,
like Black Adam and like Aquaman.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So can I throw out one more director?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
So, what if you make Angela Kang? She's the director from the new from season 8 to season 10 from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
So what if you make her do a project like Marvel Zombies?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
She proved to be a good director because she kind of brought The Walking Dead back from the dead. After season 7, The Walking Dead was kind of declared dead.
Yeah.
And what she did with The Walking Dead, now with the last few, I think 1, 2, 3 seasons, it's just absolutely incredible.
Nice.
The Walking Dead has never been this good since 5, 6 years ago.
Nice. I'll have to check that out because I
That's
felt
good.
way off on Walking Dead. I liked it a lot, but then it started getting way
Yeah.
too the same.
Indeed, the whole thing with Negan, they just it took 3 seasons to get over that, and that literally killed The Walking Dead almost.
Yeah.
But Angela Ken came on for the Whisperer War that's going on right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just
incredible.
incredible.
Is she the showrunner?
Yep.
Huh. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that would be a good fit for sure. Now, what's going to be really interesting to see is as we move forward, if any of these actually happen. Do you know what I mean? We'll look back and be like, oh shit, we called it. You know what I mean?
I am halfway convinced, Josh, that a majority of the MCU folk watch your channel and just
as
go
far as
off
like
of
the people, yeah, it's weird. I'm sure I know a couple people at Marvel that watch the channel, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. But I think too, there's also this fact of, and like this is just a thing that happens out there in the world where there's only so many ideas, and as comic book fans, like I think one of the things is when you can, if you think about what Feige is, right? Who's Kevin Feige? He's just a big old nerd. He's a great ambassador for comic books, but he also just thinks in terms of a lot of the same ways that we all think, right? So it's not too far of a stretch to think of things in terms of the comics and then understand that, like, yeah, they're doing that, and then you can extrapolate out some hypotheses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually got hit up by a person from Marvel yesterday that told me, or maybe it was 2 days ago, but that told me that the live action X-Men Disney Plus stuff that Grace Randolph ran is total crap.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So basically, like, reached out to me and was just like, "Yeah, no, that's not happening." But those icons do mean something, and I was like, "Oh, thanks for nothing." Pretty much.
I still think they will do it.
TAS would be the most sense, right?
What's up?
Yeah.
X-Men TAS would be the most sense.
Yeah. I think they might revamp that, and I kind of speculated about it in that video, but I said, there was supposed to be that thing on March 30th where they were going to show a ton of Disney Plus content, and that just never happened.
Yeah.
We never saw that come out online. So
the showrunners from the old stuff have been in different interviews since their
they were on
meeting with Marvel.
I remember they were on Screen Junkies maybe like 2 years ago or something, having like an hour-long interview with like Rob.
Dude, I'm talking like as recent as this year.
Yeah, they just did something with Young Ripper, didn't they?
They did some with Young Ripper. They did some with the Screen Junkies. I'm talking panels, like Comic-Con, all of that, bro.
Yeah.
They're trying to get it out there.
So all signs point to the X-Men animated series coming back.
Like I said, it's funny.
I'm telling you, man.
I would prefer X-Men Evolution to come back over. Like, I love that. I grew up with X-Men TAS.
Yeah.
But like Evolution was actually significantly better. In the last couple of their Apocalypse.
What if they were to?
I'll have to check that out. I don't remember much about Evolution.
Evolution is
what if,
like the last couple seasons of Evolution are way better. But keep going.
Would it be possible to revitalize the X-Men the animated series into a kind of like connective tissue with the X-Men from the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and to bring back that series as well, or is that off?
Well, were X-Men Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Were they? Or are you thinking of there was the Wolverine? There was at the same time Wolverine and the X-Men developed by that.
There were plans for the X-Men to appear in season 3 of Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Oh wow, dude, I love Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
There might be the very last episode of the series. The X-Men might have been in it with Galactus.
Well, now
was it going to be the X-Men from the Wolverine and the X-Men though, where that one season X-Men where Professor X is like 40 years in the future?
Well, now that you mentioned that, I just remembered the Hulk, Bruce Banner, looked very similar to the Bruce in Wolverine and the X-Men, so I think it might have been by the same people.
Yeah. Well, now that Feige has pretty much everything hitting his desk, it would be cool if they set up very similar to what DC has, where they have like sort of their animated universe and their connective tissue with that. And that dude, Christopher Yost, had really made, like, I think Earth's Mightiest Heroes was such a awesome show, and the way they interpreted a lot of the different comic book arcs and stuff like that. I loved that show. And a lot of that had to do with Christopher Yost, man. And Christopher Yost is like a...
Didn't he do Gargoyles too? As I recall, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know if Yost did Gargoyles actually. I'm gonna have to look that up. But he wrote that Kane Scarlet Spider run that I always gush about. Back I think it was like 2016, 2015 era. Where he did like the 24, 26 issues of Kane Scarlet Spider. He wrote that. He worked on the show. He's worked on a lot of different things in the MCU. I think he
did Hulk versus and stuff like that. And so remember the Hulk versus like Deadpool and Hulk and Wolverine.
Do I remember? Do I remember?
And actually, he wrote X-Men Evolution. He wrote
That's what I'm saying. He is a silent
X-23, right?
He is a silent killer in the game. He is involved with like so much stuff going on at Marvel. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
He wrote the Batman, the one that was Jackie Chan. Remember the Jackie Chan cartoon?
Yes.
That became the Batman. Well, not didn't become the same people did the Batman like after Jackie Chan cartoon ended.
Dude, this dude is.
He did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that was out around that same time.
Yeah, he worked.
So he basically created our childhood. Is what
he did Wolverine in the X-Men, like that 21 season. Where
is he the one that did that post on Instagram that the fans made this petition saying he should be the Kevin Feige of the animated universe revival to bring back?
No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. And he was also involved with Mandalorian. He's involved. He was an executive producer on Mandalorian.
Rebels.
Yep, he worked on Rebels. He worked on Ragnarok. I mean, like, dude, this dude is one of those people where, like, they just know, they just want him to touch their stuff, right? Like,
that's right.
They just want him to come in and be like, hey, Chris, you're pretty much one of the best in the game when it comes to storytelling in all these different mediums. You want to just look us over, give us some pointers, you know? And that's why I'm telling people.
You know what I don't
What's up?
Understand? Why is it that we have these good creators? You feel me? We got the Bruce Timm DC animated universe. We got the Christopher Yost with all that stuff, and we got the it's blanking on me, but I was about to say. Yeah, like all of them, and the fans want these guys to come back.
Yeah, like Dave Filoni and all that too.
They're not back. Yeah, like
it's a Hollywood thing, man. It's a Hollywood thing where like to Hollywood, and Chris seems to be the one that really he has somehow broken out of that the most. But it's a Hollywood thing. Like if you're not a Hollywood person, they just keep you at bay. Like Bruce Timm is the animated person. You know what I mean? Because it's just it's the ivory tower thought. That's another thing where it's like I've always said, like, why isn't Claudia Gray involved more in writing for Star Wars everything? You know what I mean? Like I really think she's that talented, and it's just
I just
the Hollywood
remembered
thing.
The person I forgot, Dave Filoni. You know, they brought him back, but they're not making him the creative director with Jon Favreau that we've been saying for the longest. Like it's stuff like that gets under my skin. Like these guys.
I think a lot in Hollywood, you got to put in your dues, right? You got to pay your dues. Mm-hmm. You got to earn yourself. You got to earn your spot, right? So
it's super hierarchical.
Jon Favreau has earned his spot over Filoni because he's Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
The MCU. He had probably a big hand in what the early MCU was. Like the first phase, like phase 1, phase 2. Like,
sure. Yeah.
It's not just Feige. Like it's just like he was probably a big part of it as well, right? So,
yeah. I would assume so. Yeah, I would assume he had a lot to do with different decisions being made around that time and like the things that.
He's done a bunch of movies since then. So Jon Favreau's done a bunch of movies.
Yep.
Filoni's worked on, other than like he worked closely with George Lucas on Clone Wars. He did Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting his shot directing episodes of Mandalorian. Like,
Yep.
Getting his shot, and maybe if an Ahsoka series ever gets made, maybe that's him show running it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Is that's probably the whole setup. The whole plan was to sort of kind of piecemeal out his experience as a live action director. And I agree. I think that it's a Hollywood thing, though. You know what? I will say this is the last thing, because we'll get out of here, and then at 1:30 we'll hop on Patreon. But like I will say, I'm really interested in what's going to happen post-virus, because Hollywood itself is getting really rocked. But I think also there's a little bit of disenchantment going on. It's almost like we were already in a phase where, like, if you look at Hollywood, the idea of the star, the A-list celebrity pushing the film, that was already kind of going away. We were already kind of breaking down the barriers of, well, what's a streaming movie? What's a mainstream movie? There was a lot of stuff that was already changing the status quo in Hollywood, and I'm wondering if in a post like Corona world, does Hollywood become a little bit more democratized? Does Hollywood change, and is that, you know, for the better? Are some of the things that Dan's talking about that are sort of irritating to us as fans, is that going to go away now because things are all kind of starting at zero again? You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah,
you got to look at it from a creative standpoint as well. You feel me? Like, there's all of this, you know, on the come up. You got all these cartoons that are quality storytelling, possibly some from Imaginary Friends, Dexter's Laboratory, Justice League, all of them, Ed, Ed and Eddie, great shows, right? That we loved as kids. And then in the live action stuff, you would see sprinkles of that, you know. What was it? I guess Blade? Yeah, we'll go with Blade because, you know, that was the first to break some ground. But the rest of them, X-Men, Spider-Man, yes, they broke the superheroes, but they couldn't really.
They didn't bring
escape,
the magic,
you know, until the MCU came along.
Right.
But even
they weren't
early
willing to build a universe like outside of their own film trilogy.
Well, they were more focused on. I feel like they were more focused on that kind of that thing that I was talking about, where it's like I'm irritated by Hollywood wanting to do Hollywood's take. So like some of the early comic book movies, they treated like the comic book like it was not valuable, or like the animated stuff was not valuable. They were like, we're gonna make a movie, and we're gonna use this stuff, rather than being like, oh, this is the shit people love. How do we make a movie that complements that? And I think that's really what Feige did, right? Was like, no, we're going to use the movie medium to show this.
I think with the diminishing of the star power, hopefully stars get paid less too. I'm not to say that I want anyone to get paid
they are
less,
going to.
Like,
I mean, like
screenwriters, directors, and all that kind of stuff. That should be where the money is. That shouldn't be where, like,
I agree.
Like, it's not stars aren't selling movies. Yeah. Like, it's just,
you know.
And CGI also, again, you look at CGI. There's no way CGI should be costing $100 million for this fucking movie.
No. A lot of that, all that shit is like inflated. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, so like that. Hopefully, yeah. So I think some things. There's a lot of silver linings in what's going on right now in the world, and I know it's like scary, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. But there is potentially a lot of good things that could come out on the other end of it. You know what I mean? So hopefully we make it to the other end of it. You know, the MCU is still here. It's just now months away.
Guys, it's not something to be scared of a little bit, but as long as instead we're flattening that curve, and hospitals are able to take care of people,
right?
We're all gonna get this virus, man. It's probably almost we're all probably gonna. There's no vaccine for it yet.
Right.
We're all probably gonna get it. It's just a matter of if there's enough healthcare that can be services that can be provided and not overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, we just got to spread it out. And you know, we're working on it. This is a crazy time. Like, this is so nuts. I don't have to tell you guys. Everybody's dealing with it. But like, yeah, I just think that there will be a lot of changes, but there's a lot of room for positive changes too. You know, there was a lot of fat, bro. It's like that Frank Miller Batman Year One, where he comes in on all the gangsters and he's like, "You've all eaten well." You know what I mean? You're nice and fat. You've eaten well. You know what I mean? And it's time for a reckoning. I feel like we were fat in a lot of ways. You know?
Well, we were going in that direction too with, you know, in the earlier days with the MCU, Kevin Feige and Bob Iger or whoever was in charge had their creative differences until Kevin Feige broke away from Marvel Studios, and now it's like
not Iger. What's his name?
Perlmutter. Yeah.
Perlmutter.
Yeah.
That's the dude. Yeah, that dude. I feel like we could geek out. We could geek out about all this forever. Because, like, yeah, dude, I got a lot to say about Perlmutter. Like, what a cheap motherfucker. You know what I mean? But
right.
Him and Aviar. But say no. Well, I'm sure you got it in the stream. But if you go look back at like all the old cartoons and stuff like that were like on Disney Plus, like you go watch the old Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four producers. Look at who the producers of these shows.
Is it
are.
Aviar?
It's Aviar and Ike Perlmutter.
Well, you know, RV. How do we pronounce his name?
I think it's Avi.
Avi? Okay. So last thing. I know I said last thing like 10 times already, but Avi, yo, I'm pretty sure when you look back at the histories of the MCU, Avi might have been the guy. There was a guy that, like, Kevin Feige didn't come up with the idea to do the MCU. There was other people at Marvel that came up with that idea, and Avi actually co-produced the first couple MCU movies with Feige. Now, obviously, Feige's Feige. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from the man, but I'm just saying, like, the concept was brought up by, I believe, an intern at Marvel, and then, like, it sort of swelled into this concept.
Is it that big of a leap of a concept, though? Like, hey, these comics are all connected. Why aren't we doing it on the big screen?
Yeah,
right.
I know, but like Hollywood was not thinking about that. You know what I mean?
I don't know the channel, but there was, I think 3 weeks ago, there was a channel who made a whole documentary about Marvel Comics.
Nice.
And that's what, I don't know, it was a DW documentary or something like that. They made a great documentary about Marvel Comics. So people in the chat, I recommend this to watch that.
DW Comics.
DW documentary.
Oh man, I'm like trying to find this. Oh my god, yeah, it was Avi.
Oh my god,
we have Avi, head of Marvel's. Yeah, so he was the head of Marvel's film division. He was pleased by Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, but was less pleased by others. As a result, Arad decided to form Marvel Studios, Hollywood's first independent movie studio since DreamWorks. So look, you know, we could talk a lot of shit on him and Rothman, but like the man established Marvel Studios. Do you know what I mean?
And put
you got to give credit where credit is due. You know, he lost his way with Spider-Man 3, but he was a Venom fanboy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Producer on Venom, I imagine right now, right? But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we'll call it there. 15 minutes from now, guys, we'll be hopping on Patreon stream if you guys are a part of the Patreon. If not, I love you all anyways. Thank you guys so much for being here. Big things coming next week on the live stream and a lot more content next week as well. And we might do the community stream next week on Saturday as well. But then after that, we'll probably go back to our Mondays. The way I'm thinking is the first week each month, we'll do the community stream on Saturday because we already do the community Patreon streams on Monday, right? So we'll do those, and then we'll do Mondays every week after that. So Mondays at 8 usually, but the first week of every month, noon on Saturdays is when we will do them, okay?
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I had a great time talking with you guys for sure. And thank you guys for being in the chat as well. And as I always say, I hope you guys are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.